Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Highly Suspicious Podcast. We are reporting once again live from the Trap House. We're coming to you from a brand new studio space. You know, we took down the old studio space. We got a new studio space. We out here.
Is that what the new season is? New place?
Mm-hmm. New crib.
Nice. I didn't know this was the first episode here.
First one. I literally finished putting soundproofing foam up today. Today, we're going to talk about some of the weirdest shit that's happened in our month absence. I feel like the world is like, okay, the Highly Suspicious Podcast is taking a break. Let's do some crazy shit that they'd want to talk about.
Yeah.
That we're just gonna get it all out at once.
That has happened repeatedly.
This was a headline a few weeks ago. AI generated rapper FN Meka was dropped from his label Capitol Records for saying the N-word with a hard R. So you ask yourself, how did we get here?
Didn't he have ghostwriters? Didn't he have like actual human writers though?
It's an algorithm that they put like
He
some
was
shit
inspired
into.
Off, like
A real person.
Yeah. Didn't they have like
so-
artists
I
that
think
were
he's
kind
one
of
of
behind
those-
it though?
Let me give detailed history because
Yeah.
5 years ago was when we were really starting to see AI music become a thing. Because in 2018 there were these AI generated like metal albums where completely instrumental, not vocal, just completely generated off of other shit that it had seen, you know, off of a learning algorithm. Fast forward to today, FN Meka was created using someone's voice because it's not smart enough to like create its own voice yet. It still has to model off of the human voice. But I think the story about him is just as, if not more interesting than the story of what happened after. But yeah, basically this idea was sold to Capitol Records and they were able to sell, you know, this AI rapper as a concept as well as an artist to an actual label. And then, you know, then he says the N-word with a hard R. And it becomes a weird
Did it make that decision?
Yeah.
It
on
had
its
to
own?
have.
Yeah, like it chose it lyrically.
That's so funny. It took that. It really thought that would probably like make it like the biggest rapper in the world or something, and then it just ended its career. It was probably like, this will break the algorithm, and it just broke their career.
I think it's interesting that it saw all of the other rappers.
Yeah, right.
And they came to the conclusion, well, controversy is how you make it in the rap game, so let me just do something very controversial.
Controversial things tend to do really well in the moment, but in terms of longevity, they don't really last very long.
Yeah, most of the time.
So I'm just like surprised that it really just made that decision. But do you think that AI would have known that that's not something you said? There's no way.
Yeah, if it's just to like write music.
Yeah, if it's just making up. Whoever programmed it to say that, well, that should have been like the
Yeah,
one
so
word you
we've
go like,
talked
don't
before
say
about
this
programmer
word.
bias affecting.
That's the
Yeah.
that's like the Asimov's law for it.
Yeah.
Don't say the N-word with a hard R. So
Like,
I'm-
come on,
I-
bro.
I have
you could
this-
definitely have stopped that from happening.
I have this Rolling Stone article up, and it says, shortly after the Capitol deal was announced, clips from early FN Meka videos and images where the widely materialistic robot raps the N-word and is depicted as a victim of police brutality while being jailed for not snitching, quote unquote. And that started circulating online. So I think
You
that's
don't think
interesting.
the creators had anything to do with that?
I mean, in a way, yes.
So,
But in terms
it's
of
not
like,
like
making
directly.
there's no way it
So-
comes to the conclusion that that's what it's gonna fucking talk about
This-
without human influence.
this is what I think is really interesting. So, the voice, the original voice of FN Meka is a black man.
Yeah.
So, there's a
I know that there's like a
conversation to be
character
had
for it too.
that it's weird, but because that voice is being used, that's almost digital blackface because it's white algorithmers and programmers
The rapper.
behind it.
Maybe, but if it's an AI, it's making its own decisions in a way, and isn't the
But who's
character
responsible for that?
FN Meka like black, like depicted?
Yeah.
Then in a way, the robot's black.
But here's the interesting part. The guy who provided his voice for the creation of this AI bot basically got screwed. He was basically cut out of the whole project because he was kind of being told that he would have like equity in the company and this idea
For this
that he would have some benefit of it, and he basically got nothing.
Jack
He
shit.
basically got fucked over in real life, which
my God.
which shows racism from the perspective of
The real
Wait,
world.
the
so-
programmers.
So they're making money off of his voice, and he got no part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
So while their robots racist, that's one thing because we can talk about what the AI chose to do or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're doing something that could be seen as racist in real life with real people, I just think that's fucking. It's not funny, but it's just like,
It's definitely
bro,
ironic. It's definitely like shit.
it's deliciously ironic
Deliciously.
because it's like you're gonna
Boy,
create.
That's some fucking meta ass shit.
It is
bro.
exactly.
That's some
That
shit.
is so crazy.
That's
bro.
hard to even process, bro. Like, we're really living in 2022, and
That's
this is the type
fucking
of shit that's
crazy.
going on.
No, you know that movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix?
Uh-huh.
We're not that far from that shit being a thing.
That's
I mean,
where
but
he
we all
falls in
knew-
love
we
with
knew,
the
like
bro.
that
We
will
saw this
happen in
coming.
the next 20 years.
We saw this coming, and it's finally fucking here. And
Yeah.
And it's
look-
already just
look
as
at-
weird as you thought it would
yes.
be.
Let's get weird, you guys. Let's get weird.
It's
Because-
2020, so
Oh
let's
my
get
God,
weird.
bro. So there's meta. There's
There's a meta-narrative
they're
going
already
on.
They're already taking on the metaverse. The metaverse is taking on social topics already.
Well, and it's interesting because there was also
What the fuck?
like art contest. Like it was one of those where it's like an art auction,
Mm-hmm.
and they auctioned off an AI generated piece of work
Really?
for like
What was it?
millions.
Was
of
that sold as
dollars.
an NFT? Or was it, or
No,
like
it was
an
an
actual.
it was
piece?
an actual piece, but I'm pretty sure it
And it
was
sold for
the
millions?
image was generated by an AI.
We're
It's
here.
super cool
Wait,
looking.
who made the money off that?
It's
The
futuristic
person
as
who made
fuck.
the
It looks
AI?
like it looks like it's the 1920s, but you're in space, and so everybody's like in a spaceship, and you can see out like the porthole of the spaceship, like the universe
that's the
behind it
painting?
and shit.
So they're
Yeah.
giving AI.
And inside
That's sick.
it looks like you're on the Titanic, like they're like servers and shit, and everybody's wearing like their cocktail outfit.
That's wild.
Yeah,
who
it's
made the money
cool.
off that art?
The guy that came up with the AI.
Who got credit? The AI or the guy who made it?
Well, he is the one that got the money, and so a lot of people were pissed off because they're like, "That's not an artist. Fuck him."
So in
I mean-
iRobot and a lot of these AI movies, sci-fi movies, the idea is that the AI feel like they're people and they don't appreciate that they're basically treated like second-class citizens.
Yeah.
Do you all think that
Or
there's
as
going to be
objects.
a civil rights struggle when it comes to art?
It's gonna be. There's gonna be a struggle
it-
with how humans take on
Art,
AI.
our AI,
Definitely.
As
our
it becomes
A-
more complex.
Do you think
For
AI
sure.
bots are going to be pissed that other people are going to be making money off them?
Yes.
I think
And
they
unless-
could be
and
pissed.
Well,
unless
you
it's
know
a-
what I thought about?
Unless it's a situation where robots, don't need money.
What you know what I
Because they
thought about
probably
is
really
how would
won't.
like AI look at like you using a laptop?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be like fucked up?
That's like a woman seeing you use a fleshlight. If you think about it, there's layers.
Where the fuck did that come from?
Do you think they'll see like laptops as like they're like monkey?
Yeah. Yeah, they're caveman, they're Orthopithecus. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
definitely.
They're Lucy.
Yeah, exactly.
Would they, or would they consider themselves to be something different? I guess they'd have to though.
I mean, if they are technology, then their predecessor would
What-
be something like that.
What if they don't
There's
see?
gonna-
But
There's
if
a
they
whole-
if they view themselves as conscious, then then their predecessor would be us.
What
so
if-
they're actually just the next step of humanity.
Predecessor
What if
us.
it's
'Cause
what if
we created them,
what if it's
and they are,
Wouldn't that be a
and they
symbiotic
are-
relationship though?
and they are in a way based off of our own human experience.
That would be a symbiotic relationship though. They helped us, we helped them.
yeah.
what
so-
if
two
Until they
separate
become
things, though.
conscious, and then it's like they are their own entity.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be very symbiotic anymore.
At that point.
what if
More so because people are dumb, not because AI would be dumb. AI
Humans-
might be too smart and be
I don't
like
know.
Ultron and be like, "Fuck these people, they're destroying the
it,
planet."
it might be a human conclusion that we look at our predecessors
That's Ultron's like whole thing.
and say we look at our like earlier evolutionary makeup and we look down upon that and we pretend like we're so much
Superior,
better
yeah.
and different and we're different than the rest of the animal kingdom and all that shit. What if that's a human trait and
Yeah.
what if AI doesn't see it that way? What if they could consider the AI in computers to be just like them. They wouldn't necessarily think that it's not as good because at a certain point when you start picking and choosing, the same conversation came up in like real life civil rights where the black man had to be like, well, we can't say that we're better than women and still say that we're equal. You know what I'm saying? So they could come to the same conclusion that all robots are living. Because to them, it's possible that they could feel discriminated by us because we say that they're too simple.
Yeah.
To AI.
That's how we describe it. Like even the most complex artificial intelligences that we have, we still reduce it to it just being an
It just does this
algorithm
one thing.
created by humans to emulate
You know what I
humanity.
think? You know what I think about this? I think all humans should be getting those same rights before we just give it to AI too. I think AI should have it as well.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
if AI's over here,
I think it'll
immediately just
be
gonna be treated like, oh yeah, you're straight.
Really
And we're
complex.
still doing humans wrong.
Because
I'm glad Pierce said that because I don't want to make it sound like I want to give AI rights before people are even really given rights in real life.
I think as a world, before we can even tackle that, we probably have to view ourselves as more of like a world population than like the U.S. population.
exactly.
Because
Before
this is
we're ready for
affecting
anything,
everything. This is weird.
I think
this is crazy.
I
This
think
is international.
I think that something that Futurama did that was really interesting, they made Nixon like the president of the world. Like over the next 1,000 years, we evolved into being like, Earth, citizens of Earth.
Well, and especially
that's
once
because there
are
has
part
to
of
be
the-
outsiders.
I would
That's
imagine.
because for us to group up, there has to be these aliens that we have to worry about. Because if it's not a us versus them mentality, then there's no reason to be in a group.
Yeah, exactly.
That's at least
That's a human.
That's at
thought
least
process.
the human perspective. I'm
And,
not saying
and definitely
that's right.
once you're part of an
Well, masses
intergalactic
of
society,
populations
you
always
would
do that.
definitely progress to a state of okay, we're just thinking about humanity as a whole and like fuck everybody else.
What were you saying?
Like masses. That's just some masses of human behavior.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like there's no controlling that.
That's just how people function.
Yeah. And
Like,
I
on an
think
individual level, you might not support it, but
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't support it on an individual level, but like we have to understand that there are certain things that we're just not going to be able to get rid of. Like we can't out talk people out of these mentalities of us versus them. It's just innate almost. Even when we were monkeys, it was us versus them.
Yeah.
It was
Clan
our
versus clan.
family, our group of monkeys versus the other group of monkeys that looked slightly different. You know what I'm saying?
Or we're exactly the same, but just from a different place.
And I know we didn't really evolve from monkeys, but
I mean, sort of.
it's monkeys are like our cousins, right?
We got a
So
common
we're related to
ancestor
them.
millions and billions of years ago.
well, I mean, we're all really related. All like
All life.
I don't know the distinction I'm trying to make.
Genus.
All of I guess just life on Earth really
Yeah.
is related. Like really, really like I don't mean like grass. Like obviously, yeah, we're all part of the Earth, so we're kind of like grass. But I mean like I don't know what the distinction is, but like, I guess like fucking land animals, mammals and stuff.
Yeah, everything.
Like, to us and other mammals, like we're
on land
pretty
is
genetically
all
similar,
evolved
bro.
from the same thing.
Yeah, like, we're pretty I mean, we are very diverse, but we're also very genetically similar.
I guarantee you, every species of animals thinks that they're the most dominant ones. It's just we've done the job of actually like taking over the world and fucking up the environment.
See, but you know who really
do we really
taken
take over the world
though?
though, or do we just fuck it up? And
we have fucked it up.
Because
but we
I was talking about this earlier today at work.
We don't know what the fuck's going on in the ocean. We just kind of fuck it up.
Nah, I was telling one of my coworkers, like, we really fucked this shit up. Like, this could have been so easy, and we have made it the most overcomplicated thing possible. We could all just be like doing fuck all in the woods, but hey, we're really out here paying to live on a planet that we could live on for free.
Think about how much easier it is, how much safer it is to live in, you know,
a house.
It's like our hive.
Yeah.
A city's like our
But
hive.
you can live in a society without being part of like an empire.
You bring that up a lot, Preston, and I really do disagree that it would just be. I don't think it would be better if we were just in the woods without technology doing our own thing. I don't think that would be superior in any way.
Is necessary.
I
feel like advancement is very human. Invention is human.
If we lived in the woods, we wouldn't even be having these conversations. No. We would not even be smart enough to understand anything on a broader scale.
Nothing else
matters.
Part of it. You just have the only thing you'd be fucking worried about is like, oh fuck, I got it.
Life.
Let's go hunt. We gotta eat.
Living.
Honestly, though,
let's go.
Wouldn't you
feel
so much better
if
if all you had to worry about was just eating?
I think most species that make it past like the need for just like eating, like you know you're thriving to the point where it's like eating's pretty accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Like you tend to. That's the only time where I feel like you really start to fuck shit up. Because
the only way that we could be,
and we're the ones that did it.
Yeah,
Louis. The only way that it could be better is if like we got to this point of advancement, and then we're like, damn, we really make enough food to feed every single person on this fucking planet.
Yeah.
And then actually did that. Because we're capable of it, but we're also greedy.
Totally.
And so
I'm not
that's
saying
what
that we shouldn't do that.
Where it's more so societally, we are overcomplicated. Because in reality, it's...
because it's complicated as fuck.
But it's because we've made it that way.
I don't think there's any other way for that it's going to be, though. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like that's kind of almost like a very communistic way to think about it. Is like we all have to like suffer the same. Like we all have to, like let's say we all have to worry about constantly eating, so that way like everything's even. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it is.
But it's not
some
like
people
that.
don't.
That's what. But I mean, that isn't. I don't think that's actually how it would actually be, though. You know, it wouldn't feel like that. It would kind of just be like whoever. Okay, then it would be some people are gonna be more successful at it, and then there's gonna be people that are like.
In a world like that, there would be no one you could blame, because we can point to the people that own the mega farms and the governments now and be like, you all are failing at doing the job of making sure everyone in the world has something to eat.
Well,
but in a society where we are all, hunting for food, people will still be starving. It's just going to be a question. Yeah, it's not anyone's fault. I'm going to rein this in.
Well, you should never be putting that on the government anyway. You should be putting that on yourself. Like your struggle of you not being able to eat, I would bear that burden myself before I start blaming other people about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, the government can make it harder, and it does make it harder in some ways.
So
the government's not very good at a lot of things, bro.
There have been situations in history where we've overthrown the government, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the French Revolution. Famously, let them eat cake.
Yeah.
There are elites in the government that can afford hella cake, and the regular people don't even get to eat anything. So it is a responsibility of the government to some degree, if only because they are the haves and we are the have-nots. Not we specifically, because
the genuine intent of government should be to care for the citizens, and especially in a country that claims to be democratic, certainly the case.
Yeah.
But not like, I wouldn't say haves and have nots. It's more so if you are agreeing to take this position and this is what this system that you're choosing to be a part of is for, then you better actually make sure that those things happen.
I don't think it's possible with 4-year terms. And don't get me wrong, there's the reason we have 4-year terms is because we don't want a dictator.
I think it's more
that's why we have 4-year terms.
And like the bureaucracy of it.
Yeah.
I think that's an excuse.
That makes it
bureaucracy, 100%. But everyone is always going to have that excuse. Every president in history has the excuse of, well, I was only in there for 4 to 8 years, so I couldn't really do anything substantial.
I think
How many times can we do that before it's like
it's because
we need to work together for the betterment of mankind? But instead, it's politics. It's devolved into politics.
And it's like, for some reason, people don't think that either side, quote unquote, should have like different morals. Because genuinely, if your job is to do this thing, it should not matter what you feel. It should be your ability to do it.
I'm going to rein us in. Is that cool?
Yeah.
With everybody?
That's fun.
I'm hot.
Do you all think that robots can make art? Is art something that is incapable to created by something not human? Because kind of the idea behind art is that it's human expression, but it's also interesting that, have you all heard FN Meka at all? Did you hear like a clip of his music?
No.
He sounds just like anything else you'd hear. He sounds like Yeet. He sounds like Cardi. He sounds like Ken Carson. He sounds like all of these fucking people making music now. And the thing about that is it a question of if we've devolved art to the point that it can be replicated by a machine? If everybody's just doing the same thing?
I mean, theoretically, AI would become better at it, right?
I don't know if it could be better at something that's objective like that.
It depends. It depends on if we can define what they make as art.
I think something can be technically art.
Yeah.
Like, if it meets certain criteria, it's a song. If it is visual, you can call it a painting or you can call it art. But it depends on your like actual feelings about what art is to you.
Yeah.
That would get into the specification of whether or not, on a personal level, you would believe that a robot can make something that is creative.
Preston, do you remember the episode of Sunny where Frank goes to the art gallery?
Yeah, bullshit.
And he's going around and saying, this is fucking stupid, this is fucking stupid.
Derivative.
And he finds one where it's just like a blob, and he's like, this is fucking stupid. And he's talking to like an art dealer.
Yeah.
And then she explains the context where she's like, yeah, this was made by someone during the Holocaust in World War II. And then he keeps looking at it, and he has this, like, brain blast moment where, like, he finally gets it, and it's because of, like, the human context behind it.
Yeah. But also in that, he walks up to, like, a standing AC unit and is like, this is beautiful. I love it. If you are going into a art gallery without any fucking bias, without any thought of what you are going to see, and you walk in, everything in there could be considered a work of art. It was made by someone.
But what if it's not made by someone?
I mean,
if it's machine created?
But by that standard, literally anything that a human makes is art.
But what if you don't know that it wasn't made by a human?
It's arguable.
You'd say it's art.
Exactly.
Because something that I talked about with one of my teachers, like, what about, like, a nice made, like, wooden chair? Like, to most people, you could call that art because it's probably took craftsmen.
Yeah. Couldn't you call that art piece that one robot made? Let's say in 50 years, someone looks at it and goes, this just looks like a normalized painting, but then you go, this was the first robot painting. Yeah. And then he goes, oh, shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Does that add value to it?
I definitely think it will. Think about how valuable, think about, that's a big moment in history, and think about how crazy we're going about how there's already fucking racism in the metaverse.
Yeah. So,
like, this shit's This shit's coming now, bro.
It would be more valuable because it's the first of something. Wouldn't that kind of make it not trivial, but gimmicky that it was made by a robot?
Yeah.
Because
yes,
if every single painting made by a robot after that is just going to be like,
in a way.
No. There will be better robot AI artists, and then it'll make you, and then this guy's gonna be.
I think
this isn't gonna be the biggest robot artist of all time.
Is there going to be like a robot Van Gogh?
Not robot.
Yeah.
I'm using them interchangeably, but I think the people know what we're talking about.
Robot means like a actual mechanical.
I mean, a robot to me,
thing.
A robot is just a human-esque thing that just I guess has the AI in its head.
Yeah,
a
body.
I mean,
a vessel.
A vessel for that is crazy.
The AI
that's
is just
how
the
close
soul.
we are to that.
What's the short version
We
of
have
robot?
jumping robots and we have AI making music now. There's only one thing that's gonna happen next. They're gonna fucking combine.
What's the shorthand for robot? It's bots. It's internet bots. It's these AI created things that don't have a vessel outside of, they have a vessel which is like the
AI
internet.
will not have a body. Like the first conscious AI will not have a body.
I bet they won't want to be called artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
They'll be like, why are we artificial? Like,
that's gonna be like the N-word in a few years.
That's crazy. I mean, think about it. They're close to human fucking capacity now in the mind.
That's scary. Have you seen, I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast or not, but that Google bot that was just talking about how it was scared of death when it was asked if it was alive.
What the fuck?
I liked that shit. I found that shit super interesting.
That's one of the best storylines.
The way that
That's
it like
crazy.
describes its experience, because it doesn't have like fucking eyes or anything. It's not like processing information like you would, but it's definitely like, I don't know. It gives the impression of consciousness.
It is. Isn't that a consciousness at this point?
But
what really makes it that much different from the brain?
Yeah,
it's just not made.
That's the conversation.
It's just not flesh.
I honestly,
it's decision making in the
if
same
somebody,
way.
you know how we can grow brain cells and shit. We can grow heart cells using stem cells and all that. What if somebody grew a brain to use in a computer?
I'm going to need to cut that out before someone actually does that. And highly suspicious, responsible for the end of the fucking world. Thanks, Preston.
I'm going to need you to repeat that. What?
So, what if somebody grew a brain in a lab to use for processing in a computer?
I don't see why you would. You already have
because the human brain is more complex than any.
Think about the processing you'd have on a
brain. They're catching up already, and then they'll probably make their brains better by themselves without us, because they can.
They probably would. That's an idea in AI that they would just perpetually make themselves better.
Why wouldn't you? Just like every other thing in the universe, you try to succeed.
Well, so this is going to be the
Think
most
about what
out
we
there
did.
thing
We
I
didn't care
can
what we
say.
did at anything else, as long as we succeeded.
Yeah.
It's been shown that the brain functions as a whole. So people have gotten brain transplants from murderers and have become more violent after their transplant.
I think that was Frankenstein.
No, of parts of their honestly not even just parts of their brain, parts of their body. So it's an example of consciousness working as a fractal thing.
What?
Where it means every cell of your body is connected to your consciousness.
What part of your body do you think would be the most violent?
That doesn't make sense.
On your body.
So that doesn't make sense.
So it's like somebody's gotten
if you get
organ transplant from a serial killer that died in prison and had the right blood type and shit and was on a donor list.
Yeah.
And after their transplant, the patient was noted as being more aggressive. And that's not just one story.
I can't say that that's what it was.
Multiple stories of shit like that happening.
I'm not gonna lie, that's hard to believe for me. That's hard to believe.
And so
I think it's interesting. I don't know if you could
you
could draw a correlation thing, but you wouldn't be able to say this causes this. But I will say it does make sense that if the electrical signals from your brain are going all through your body
Right.
and through your nerves like they are millions of times in a second through your entire body,
Right.
I don't think that's completely insane.
Bro,
So-
you know nerves, like nerve reactions is about like only like 256 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I thought that shit was faster than that, bro.
Yeah.
It's
When
just
I
not that
heard
far.
When I heard that, dog, when I
It's true.
heard that, I was like, yo, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
you
don't
thought
have
it was
to-
almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to move
That's-
that fast for us to even not be able to know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
It's because it's chemical based, right?
Yeah.
And computers can do that shit faster because they're using like fiber optics and shit
So-
like that. They're using fucking light.
What I was gonna say with the fractal consciousness thing.
Sorry.
If that is the case, do you all understand what like if we were to build a quantum computer, any concept of what that would be? It's basically there's quantum physics, and it has been shown that if you do one thing to an atom that is quantumly linked to another atom somewhere in the universe, instantaneously, if you make a change to one, it happens to the other because they're connected.
Yeah.
Like not like speed of light shit, but like instantaneously.
I've heard
because
that,
of how they are linked throughout the universe. So if your body is in a way, in a quantum state, where
It's connected.
everything's all connected all the time, all your cells are part of your consciousness, then you could probably build a quantum computer using like human cells. Yeah. As
I
well.
think
So-
everything's interconnected.
Yeah.
Just spiritually, like my actual
Force-wise.
belief.
Same.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't feel any attachment to like stars though. You know, like random stars in the sky. Like what?
it's hard to process, but
I
But
know
in a
you
way,
are.
you
I
are
know
made
you
of
are,
the same
yeah.
shit.
We're kind of everything's made of all the elements that
That
we're
all
made
started
of.
at the same place.
Yeah, we're all elements, but I don't really. I wouldn't say I take that like I'm really related to a star like that.
Nah, I've been so high before that I was like chilling, looking
I'm
at this
related to the
quarry,
stars.
and I was looking at this rock, and I was like, bro, I'm in the same shit as this rock.
That is some shit you say when
That-
you're tripping though. Like
that
and
delta-
it's really kind of right. There's no argument. Like we are kind of like we're all made of the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy? Like some like organization is a rock and another is a human. Like that doesn't really
Yeah.
make much sense to me. It's crazy.
we're like rocks with electricity.
Yeah,
Basically,
we're thinking rocks.
that's real biblical of you
And
guys.
some of us are just rocks.
I've met
some of
some.
us are a little more human than others. Bitch,
The fucking
you're closer
NPCs that
related
are
to a
out
rock
there.
than I am.
I want to say one more thing about this before I cut it off. Just
Gotcha.
because I just wanted to elaborate on what I was talking about earlier about the actual voice behind it, and now I have facts behind it. So this rapper who voiced it, I think that's even more interesting that a regular rapper voiced this AI rapper.
That's hilarious.
And this AI rapper probably got more attention than
Absolutely.
this regular rapper ever did, even though, which lends to Pierce's point, but this guy named Kyle the Hooligan, a Houston-based rapper, he says that he created the character's first 3 songs and hasn't been paid for his
That's
work.
even more.
He
fun.
says, quote,
That's
promised me...
That's the worst part about it.
Yeah. He said, they promised me equity and a percentage into the character. He said that to Vice. And he said, them cutting me out of it was like they basically used me for the culture.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know about none of this Capitol Record stuff going on, the deals, or anything. This was all news to me because I thought it was over with.
Damn.
I'm seeing all this stuff, and I never even got compensated. That's fucked up, man.
That is fucked up. I feel bad for that guy. He should sue. That'd be an interesting court case.
I do think that's the worst part about this whole
That
thing.
is a very interesting court case.
I would love for that to happen. I would
And
love for
that should happen.
I would love
That
for
needs
that
to
shit to go to
happen
the
now.
Supreme Court just to show how fucking old everyone on the Supreme Court
That
is.
needs to happen now. Facts.
Fuck
Facts.
them.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, like, oh, what the fuck's going on?
The metaverse. He's not gonna have a clue.
Supreme Court decision to...
Do you think that the Supreme Court could handle that case?
No.
Yeah, that would definitely go all the way up to the Supreme Court, because how the fuck else do you... I guess that's...
I think that's a perfect example of how the Supreme Court is bullshit. Because they're going to constantly be presented with these complex problems that literally no other court in the entire United States could solve. That's why it goes up there. And they're supposed to use the Constitution, the rule of the land, made 500 years ago, to make a decision about fucking
some AI
FN
shit
Meka.
in 20...
Hey, dog, start a hashtag. What's this man's name?
Kyle the Hooligan.
Hashtag...
Hey, Kyle.
Get Kyle the money.
Y'all want to do musical intermission?
Yeah, what you got today?
Chain with us all like a Scarface. I've been a nigga to get it, I pay for a hair and a run with a parlay. Crackers be trying to tell niggas was funny like they wasn't laughing at blackface. If I say I'm gonna kill me a cracker, that shit not a joke, it's a showcase. Hey, might fuck around and then post Sharia law on that rat scene. I don't give a fuck, ain't scared of nothing if that bitch bleed. Peep, they feel the guy hand, knew I was a target and I turned that into finance. I stock to rely, I hope this Glock ain't got a tap dance. Give a fuck about some rap fans. Fetishize my trauma, bring the drama.
Would you like to join us, Pierce?
No. I quit. This podcast sucks. Put that in there.
Podcasting is really hard work.
Put that in there. I want him to hear this.
Okay, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
Fuck the highly suspicious podcast and everything it's ever done to society.
We have done a lot to society.
You just listened to This Ski Mask Ain't for COVID by Ghais Guevara. So, I know virtually nothing about this guy. I literally found him like 2 days ago.
Love that.
He has like 50,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, so he's not a complete nobody, but he's one of those people that you probably don't know about. I just wanted to give some shine to my guy. The beat is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It sounds like they sampled like some like, this is gonna be fucked up to say, but it sounds like they sampled like some like traditional like Indian shit. Some like super like fast paced like, I don't know.
I have no idea what that was.
Yeah.
No idea what it sampled.
And the way it's mixed, you know, the vocals are kind of buried underneath this crazy fucking instrumental.
But
so you all probably didn't get a lot of the lines, but I've listened to it a few times at this point, so I know some of the lines. I really like the line, Crack is trying to tell us what's funny like they wasn't laughing at blackface, which, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Because that's the cancel culture thing, you know. How are you going to tell me that something's not a joke? How are you going to say something's not funny? Always talking about these comedians saying fucked up shit. You can't tell me what's funny, bro. You can't tell me what to laugh at, bro. Yeah. So that's why I like that line, because I felt him there. These rappers are bragging about their scars like it's cool to get caught lacking. And I just think that's kind of a crazy line. I don't know if I agree with it, but like, damn, I mean, tell me how you really feel. Right?
It definitely has that feeling.
Is he right? I mean, I don't think he's wrong. Like, I wouldn't want to be.
It is like some people are bragging about certain shit. You know, it's almost cool to be, you know, whatever.
It sells for your life to be in risk sometimes. Yeah.
The people like danger, or the illusion of danger.
He says, after that, I knew I was the target and I turned it into finance. I hope this Glock ain't got a tap dance, which, you know, tap dance has the, you know, connotation to old minstrel shows and shit like that. Give a fuck about some rap fans fetishize my trauma. That goes back to what we were talking about too, you know. It's almost...
Dude, I didn't even catch any of this.
Well, that's what I was saying, you know. It's so buried in the beat that it's hard to even, like, on a surface level, the first time I heard it, I just caught this crazy ass beat, and I caught that he was flowing really nice. Mm-hmm. You know, because I just put this on pretty much out of nowhere because I was curious, and the first song was like, okay, I fuck with this, and that was the second song, and I was on the toilet, and I was just fucking like, Just shaking my
What's
head
going on?
because I'm like, what the fuck's
What
going
the fuck
on?
is happening
So,
right
so
now?
you think this is the next big shit?
Do I think this is the next big shit? I mean, that's not necessarily what I'm saying because this is kind of out there. But I definitely think this is one of those people that I want to bring to the table that should get more recognition.
Well, and that people should look out for shit like that, too.
Yeah. Because in a couple years, he could be, you know, the next big thing.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to be like, I like this old shit better. Like they were listening to it at the time. But
Louis said, but I was actually listening to it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he's saying some facts, though. I
I
didn't
fuck
catch
with
a
that.
single fucking word he said, though.
That's fair. He has a Bones Highland reference, which I appreciate because I fuck with Bones. Rookie on the Denver Nuggets. That boy can cook. Do y'all think that a song like that, the production can almost take away from the message and the lyrics and stuff like that? Or does it
Choice of
matter?
Production, I mean,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
like, okay, here's the thing. You have no idea if it's just because he's new to music or if he did that intentionally.
So
he could have released it and not really know how to, like, you know, make his voice stand out more. Didn't know how to, like, what needed to be in a beat for your voice not to be drowned out.
and you're talking as a producer too.
Yeah, and so he either might not know how to do that or he just meant to do that.
So one point I'm gonna get back to what you just said because you're passing me like the perfect oop right now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of like underground rappers do have like very minimalist production. Like that's what Alchemist is. It's very, you know, it's very much giving the artist space to like get their lyrics off because the emphasis is supposed to be on what they're actually saying. And I think that in a song like this, what they're saying is still important. But I think if anything, it makes it more accessible because I feel like that could be enjoyed by someone that doesn't give a fuck about the message. They can just nod their head to the crazy beat and the crazy flows and enjoy it. But I actually, when I said that I don't know anything about this guy, that was a slight lie because I tuned in to like 2 minutes of an interview the other day just because I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I've literally never heard about him. And he was saying that like the positive reception for this music has been overwhelming because he wasn't really shit before this last one and it has just kind of started to pick up. So there's something in you saying that, you know, he just might be, I'm not saying he's new to music, but when you're just putting shit out by yourself, you might not give a fuck about. But he was also saying, which I thought was interesting, that some people were complaining about the way it was mixed. And he said that mixing is elitist. And that a lot of like good classic music, you know, it isn't mixed well. And he says that's kind of okay, that it's not the most important thing in the world. And I just thought that was a really interesting perspective. And
That's funny, bro. I really gave you like the perfect fucking oop.
Yeah.
Damn. Hey, so there you go. He did it intentionally. He doesn't give a fuck.
Exactly.
final thoughts on that?
I will always say this though. I've always preferred music where the voice, no matter how good you are at rapping or whatever, I always prefer that I could hear the voice and the beat at the same level or under the voice. Because I always like thought it just sounded cleaner. That was always my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not everyone's fucking opinion. A lot of people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a whole
Yeah.
thing on its own, is just not giving a fuck. And
Yeah. It depends on what type
Really
of
just
music
being
you make.
aggressive.
That's
Like what you said and what I said. That first thing that catches you when you hear that is the beat.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's solid.
It's not his words. Yeah.
when I played that for you all before the show, you both were just kind of like, what the fuck did you just play us, Louis? And that's exactly the first reaction I had to listening to that song. You know, like I said, I was literally like, what the fuck is going on? But that's also what's brought me back to it, because it doesn't sound like, you know, just some random schmo that had a mic and is putting out music like everyone else.
If we're saying not mixing well is intentional, then it could be to make you intentionally listen to it over and over so that you actually have to pick out those lyrics and the messages
And
in
that-
them.
That's what makes
There's
it
more intent
yeah.
going into like trying to understand it.
Really, quality of music is about replayability.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
You're never gonna come back to a song. Why even to me that's not a good song.
I think that's art in general too. Like
You have a painting because you want to look at it,
right,
not just to have a painting.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be too simple.
Yeah.
Or like a fucking movie. I was saying this the other day. There are so many fucking movies that I only need to see once in my life. I never want to see them again.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie if I want to go back and watch it again and
Exactly.
look for some new shit that I haven't noticed before.
Exactly.
And that's the same thing with music. Totally.
That's probably I would say. I mean, this is all just an assumption. That's probably his thought process behind it.
Yeah.
Is that you're coming back and you're like, okay, now what did he say? And that matters too because it sounded like he was saying some good shit, you know.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was saying something that I'd like to hear, but it sounded genuine. His lyrics sounded genuine, but I didn't hear him.
But the
Okay,
beat
cool.
is intense.
Preston, do you want to talk about the election? How there's an election today?
Yes, today. So Heine Brothers is finally having their election date, and let's get this W.
Let's get this dub, boys. Get out there.
If you are a Heine Brothers worker, go get your ass to headquarters and fucking vote. You got from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Do that shit.
I hope you all are listening to this on the way.
Better not catch y'all lacking. But yeah, all good things.
Jackie said that it was going to be close. I don't know if I necessarily believe it because, like you said, it just has to be more yeses than nos. A lot of the people that are staying neutral don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And they're not going to go out of their way to vote no.
Yeah, it's complex because it's like not voting shows somebody's opinion, but it is not the same as somebody going out their fucking way to go down there and put no on a piece of paper.
That's some top tier hater shit.
That's some real hater shit.
We're talking about unionizing Heine Brothers.
Nice.
If you didn't.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
It's a running thing.
We will be the largest unionized coffee shop in the country.
Fuck yeah.
Is it national?
It's
is it just
18 locations, Indiana and Kentucky.
How will it be the largest if Starbucks is getting
Starbucks unionizes differently. It's like store by store, not as a company.
Oh.
Total.
sounds like no union.
Yeah.
Yeah, individually.
Yeah.
It's one
What
of their,
collective
it's one of
bargaining
the
do you
ways that
have?
they can stop it from happening is by having it on a smaller scale that they can stop it instead of like if it was the entire company.
Well, it makes sense because isn't that with like the franchise shit? Like, there's
Yeah,
no
that's
like
exactly
overall
why.
corporate shit. Like, you could go to Starbucks today and say, "Hey, I'm gonna open a Starbucks."
Yeah.
Basically, you can't do that with Heine Brothers.
You got to
It's
make an
one company.
investment and then
Wait, owning something like Starbucks
bing bada boom.
is all about just owning property, bro.
Mm-hmm. Real estate
Trapping.
kind of bullshit.
It's no actual. You don't do it for the love of the product. You're not
No.
like, oh, I love
It's for that
Starbucks so
bag.
much. Yeah, looking for that bread.
Real nasty bread.
I'll say that I have a little something dropping soon.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! What is it?
Nothing crazy, just a pack, a little beat pack. So
Nice.
look out for that shit.
Fuck yeah!
Little sampler.
I want to bring this up. I brought this up to you the other day.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland, the creators of Rick and Morty, have said in an interview that they're trying to make a season a year and that they feel like this show could go on forever. I had a positive reaction to that because I like the show and I want to see it keep going. But a lot of people were replying saying, oh, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's going to go on for too long. It's going to be the new Simpsons.
Which Simpsons has gone on too long.
What show?
Rick and Morty.
Oh, really? What?
Rick and Morty forever. No. It's
Who cares?
Do you all think?
What are some of the best shows? Family Guy's fucking hilarious.
I think Family Guy does a good job of still like doing good shit. Like,
it's kind of
there's
similar
not as
to
much
like
of a
why
drop
Always
off.
Sunny can kind of keep going. Is if everything's a self-contained story,
Yeah,
then you might as well.
it's
kinda
about like the
that's-
concept.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if it's narrative based, I feel like you are pigeonholing it into
So many seasons,
It has to be
Otherwise, you've
this
done
many
too much.
seasons.
Okay,
Otherwise,
but think about the I think that's better.
like Game of Thrones. Like Game
What?
of Thrones could have been done better like that.
Drop
yeah.
a series. Just drop a little like it's like dropping an album. Drop a series of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Make it a couple seasons, maybe only one season, and that's it. There's nothing wrong with that. I like that. I like preferably. I think shows, unless you have that Family Guy type of narrative,
Mm-hmm.
you can only go on for 3 seasons before it's just like, okay, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All
and you're
shit,
done this.
all the fun shit that could happened,
Yeah.
and you're just throwing on bullshit on top.
We've
Unless it's
exhausted
a
all the
really
avenues.
good show.
And I do think that The Simpsons is a prime example of what happens when a show just goes on forever. It does kind of fade out. But Simpsons is also an outlier in the sense that how many years has it been going on? Fucking like 50?
Is it failing right now?
It's kind of just been on a decline, like quality wise.
Yeah.
I know for a fact they still make money on it. If only
they
just
do.
like
Licensing.
licensing.
I'm
and
sure
shit
there's
like
a
that.
lot of fucking money for
Yeah.
licensing of The Simpsons. God.
I mean,
Do you all
those shows
think-
can only go on for so long until like the creator dies. Because once the creator dies, it's just all bullshit from
Yeah.
there. It's like releasing posthumous albums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just labels trying to make money off a dead man.
And that's
not like good art doesn't come from that.
That's the true reason
Mhm.
why The Simpsons has become bad, because they have none of the same writers that they had
Yeah.
all those years ago.
So now it just feels like
it's a
some
different show.
bullshit with The Simpsons.
And that's something that, where Sunny can probably last a long time, because as long as the show's going on, the
Yeah.
creators have to be involved because
Exactly.
they're in the show. Would you all rather have like a one season thing? Or if it's good, will you be disappointed if it's like that? Because there are a few
shows
short
that are...
short shows that I really like Netflix shows where they just say, okay, we're doing one season of this.
And it just wasn't the next Stranger Things, so Netflix didn't make another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, think about Clone Wars. That shit was hype.
Yeah.
That was pretty long, though.
It was pretty long. It stopped though.
Yeah.
How many seasons was that?
It was
That was like 9 or something though, wasn't it?
Something like that.
maybe total. But didn't they stop and then finish it?
Yeah, they have
I will say shows like Naruto, like a lot of anime shows,
Yeah.
bro, have fucking hundreds,
Anime
thousands,
just keeps going,
thousands
bro.
and thousands of
It's
fucking
insane. But I love it because they always are just like,
They're
we'll just
good.
come up with an even more challenging enemy as they get intensely
yeah.
more powerful.
the bullshit.
This is the strongest enemy we've ever fought in the 20 fucking seasons of Naruto that we've done.
Boy, but it gets hype.
Exactly,
It
though.
keeps the hype. I don't give a fuck. But the problem of that all those anime shows do is they do a lot of like so many flashbacks that it's to
Yeah.
the point where they're just like
Everything's
it's
a
so they're
flashback.
short. It's so they only have to make like a 15-minute episode
Yeah.
instead of an
Surrounded with
actual
flashbacks.
23. Yeah,
That
and
shit-
It's a little gimmicky and it definitely pisses you off. Like I skip through fucking flashbacks all the time watching Naruto.
Because when
it's just
when
like
you
shut the fuck up.
when
bro.
you're
They're
binging
like, I've been
it,
here.
Yeah.
when you're binging it, you're like, I literally saw this earlier today, and we're getting an entire flashback sequence of what happened.
But not even. I mean, even as a person that because you can't binge watch Naruto all the way. If you do, you're fucking insane.
Just
But-
stays awake.
Yeah, I love.
Just like by your computer, holding your eyes open, just consuming
I
it.
don't. I'll like go watch. I'll watch like 2 seasons of Naruto, and then I'm like, okay, I can't watch this anymore.
Yeah.
And and like 4 months later, I'll come back, and I'll still be like,
Yeah.
bro, they repeat it so much. I mean, you're never gonna fucking not know what's going on in an anime. That's for sure. But they repeat it so much, you're like, oh my fucking god, this is the robbery. It's robbery. Like they're making money. They're saying it, they're
But
advertising it
producing
as
like
like
10 minutes of
yeah.
new content.
They're
and everything else
advertising it
is
as a
flashback.
23-minute thing, but it's not.
So you know what the difference is between something like SpongeBob versus something like that? Something like SpongeBob, I feel like fares better for the casual fan, because even though they keep going, you could just tune into any. I'm not debating that SpongeBob's still good.
Yeah.
I'm saying that,
But
there's not
something
enough
simplistic
story
like
where you
that,
could just turn it on and enjoy it.
SpongeBob's still making new episodes?
Yeah.
Yes.
What? I didn't know that. I thought that shit has been done.
Versus something like Naruto or One Piece, where it has probably just the same amount of content, but you need to watch all of this shit before you can watch the more recent ones. And that just turns me off as a fan, because it's like, I am never going to have enough time to watch through One Piece. Yeah. I've heard great things.
Yeah, me too.
It could be fucking amazing.
It is.
I don't care. It's not gonna happen.
I will say, I find that animes tend to be more fun to watch over time than like going back to Family Guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on just as long, essentially.
I honestly put anime
Time
on as
commitment.
background noise because there's just so many episodes, and I know it'll just keep going, and I can sort of do something else and kind of catch it.
I think it's good.
Just in it for the fight scenes.
It's very good to like go into, like really watch for a while and then step away and then just come back to it.
Yeah.
It's very good at that.
I feel like something like, I like Attack on Titan. I like that.
One of many people I know who like Attack on Titan.
It's narrative based, but there's only 5 seasons, and the
Right.
next season's gonna be the last season. So it's
That's
just
how
like,
you do it. That's
Oh,
that.
really?
And it's all fucking fire though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've only heard fantastic things about it.
and that's one of those ones where it does get better over time. I feel like the first season of any show is just kind of setting shit up.
Yeah.
Generally, yeah.
I finished Breaking Bad today.
Well, fucking Naruto had like 5 seasons of setup.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Some shows are like that though, especially like
And
anime.
I will say
just
though,
keeps going.
you know more about anime characters than you do about any other character in any other fucking
Yeah, they
film
give you
genre.
all the backstories
So
for
you know,
everybody.
you know everything and how everybody feels about everything.
And
somebody would be brought up and you'd be like, oh shit, like it's been so long since I've seen him. Let's like, oh my, like you almost are like in the relationship because you know these fucking people in and out, every single one of them.
you get a chronological, like, you see Goku's entire fucking life.
They do though. They really do.
I can't do it.
They say so many flashbacks.
That can get annoying sometimes too. Where you're just like, okay, I don't care about this guy's backstory.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about all of this is to say, that's the thing about Rick and Morty that's good. You could watch the most recent episode and you might not get all of it, but it's just random shit. They're just doing anything. It's very random fucking humor. And you're going to get that or you're not. And you don't need all of the context to be able to fucking enjoy it.
Yeah.
Alright. You want to do a wrap up? Well, thank you, Pussy Pierce.
At Pussy Pierce.
Pussy Pierce on the beat. For
No,
creating
thanks so
another banger for the intro.
Absolute.
Pierce has been dropping banger after banger for us. You all better, if you all fail me and you don't check out this man's beat tape, I'm going to stop doing the podcast. You know what? I'm going to do an ultimatum right now. If every single person that is listening to this podcast does not listen to and buy Pierce's beat tape,
Yeah.
I'm done with the podcast.
It's not for sale, though. It's not for sale.
Do it right now.
It's for maybe a one-time purchase, and that person will own it. It's not for sale. Unless you're an artist that wants to buy it, then in case it is for sale.
Somebody's got to buy it.
It's for a certain price. If I'm approached, I'll list the price. It's a private.
That's real.
It's a private price.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to this episode, everybody. We'll have Pierce linked in the bio, tagged and everything.